Welcome back to Baby Draw Archery. Today we're not going to do a product review, but we will do a video talking about how to protect your investment, especially when it comes to arrows. Today we're gonna talk about the Easton Axis 5mm. These are the match gray. Each of these per shaft, you'll be looking at more than $11 per shaft. I do not use the inserts that they come with. I use Victory inserts, so I can use regular size points. These are 5/16 points. For the knock, it's a X knock that it comes with. When you start shooting for grouping and you start getting pretty tight grouping, this is what happens. This is being lucky. Normally this is not being lucky. This is being lucky. Normally what happens is your knock breaks and the point of your other arrow starts hitting the back of your shaft, so it starts breaking it. Normally you can still save your arrow by removing your vanes and then cutting it maybe half an inch further than the break part. The only thing is, doing that, it makes your shaft stiffer, plus it will not tune as well as the regular size you already had it. So then you won't be able to shoot that arrow. You will, instead of having 12 arrows, you have 11. Well, now if you wanted the rest of your arrows the same size of your smaller arrow, you will need them to get broken. But what about if they break more than the one that you already have? So you have inconsistency size, or you will have to cut them the smallest as possible, but then it won't work for you anymore. One thing you can do is, one thing I was doing, especially with these guys, these are the Easton hex arrows. I was using bushings to convert it from an H knock to an X knock, but this what still happens. So see, look, this I hit it with another arrow, it broke my knock, it broke the bushing and the back of the shaft. So this, even if I'm able to cut it, it's gonna be too small for my drawing anyways. So the best way is using pinox. Pinox helps reflect the arrow if you're getting too tight of grouping. You will lose knocks. The only thing is you won't lose the shaft. But the only problem is Easton doesn't have pin bushings for their axis. So you'll be like, so how can I protect them? Well, let me see. 3 days ago I went to Chef Ralph's house and he told me that, well, I saw that he had a set of Easton Axis match gray, but the knock-on edition. And I told him, why don't you convert them into pin bushings? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Easton doesn't have any. But he did tell me that he read online that Gold Tip makes pin bushings for the Easton Axis that will fit the Easton Axis. It's not for the Easton Axis, but it's something that will fit the Easton Axis. But so I went online, well, not online. He told me he didn't know which ones they were, and it was gonna be a little bit of a hassle to figure it out. So when I came home, I knew that the inserts that I used from Victory fit the Easton Axis. The only thing is, Easton doesn't tell you the inside diameter of their shaft. So one way I figured out which one was the size, it was from these guys, the the Victory inserts. So one thing I know, these are from Rip. These are for Rip arrows. So then I went to the Victory website with Rip, and it tells you that the inside diameter of a Rip is 2.204. So when I went online to Lancaster to find the gold tip pin bushings, I needed to make sure that they fit a 0.204 bushing. So these guys came in today, and I already opened one. And there you go. And it does work. See? When it goes inside, you don't get any play. Perfect. Same size. See? Same size as the shaft. So with these guys, it is gonna make the back of the arrow a little bit heavier, but not too much. These are, let's see how much grain. It doesn't tell you how much grains they are. Nope, it doesn't tell you how much grains. But you won't be looking a lot, maybe a little 5 grains more, but it will protect your arrow. Every time you hit the back of your arrow, it does break your nock, whatever nock you use, but this pin is gonna reflect it. Sometimes when it does reflect the arrow, it gets a little crack. Let me find one that matches that. Give me a second. Okay, so I found one pin bushing as an example. Let's see if I can concentrate it. See, this one got hit from the back, and see how it got dim. So normally when this happens, there's like a burr that appears into it. So the one way, it won't allow another nock to fit because of that burr on it. So if you're on the field, the easiest way to do it is if you get like a rock and just file that burr away to make it smooth again and the same size, and then you'll be able to put a new nock back to it. See? Or if you don't want to do that in the field, then when you come back home, or if you have a file with you, just file that burr away and put your new nock into it. Bam. I normally use G-Nocks on on all my pin nocks. So the great thing is, now I don't have to buy a different type of nock for my Easton Axis. I can use the same ones I already have. So pin bushings are the best way to protect your investment, especially when you're buying more expensive arrows. Some arrows do not have pin bushings, but if you are able to do your research, you'll be able to find out that other companies product can fit on the arrow that you are looking parts for. So like Go Tips work for my Easton Axis, and there are some Go Tip parts points that fit on my Easton Super Drive, but it's just finding the right just figuring out the size, the inside diameter of your shaft and the diameter of the product you want to put on it, if it's pin bushings or points. Or normally if you call Lancaster, they can help you out with that. They're really knowledgeable when it comes to knowing what other companies' product can fit other companies' shafts or products. So that was my video talking about how to protect your investment, especially when it comes to your Easton Axis. So you don't get no more of this. Well, you'll be still getting this, but it won't become this. It will become more like this guy. Plus, when this one gets ruined, that it maybe another hair, I just take it off and then put a new pinlock. Plus, my arrow's always gonna be protected. I'll prefer maybe spending a little bit more on buying another part to protect my arrows. Plus, the more arrows you have to buy, maybe if you buy them shaft only, it's not that you're only just spending money on just the shaft, but remember, you still have to spend maybe on the rafts, paints, glue, and all that time that you're spending into it as well. So just putting maybe a few more dollars into a pin bushing can make a big difference later on. Okay, you guys, thank you again. Stay safe and keep shooting. Until next time.